yeah, we can start with the Biden won New Hampshire. Not really a surprise until you learn that he wasn't on the ballot.
What?
So, yeah, no, Biden was not on the ballot in New Hampshire, because New Hampshire, okay. Y'all's primary system is fucked up. Your whole election system is fucked up.
Yes, it is.
So basically, New Hampshire has a law, a state law, that basically says, we're going first when it comes to primaries. It's a law in New Hampshire that they have to be the first state to do the primary. I don't know how that could work on a state level, and clearly it doesn't, because the DNC was like, not this year, you're not. We're going to go to, what was it, North Carolina that they did before New Hampshire? And because it went that way, the DNC was staying out of New Hampshire and being like, no, we'll just let whatever happens there happen on their own. And so that was where a couple of like random Democrats were like, hey, maybe I can get my name out there, and probably like definitely not going to win the nomination this year, but like people will then have heard my name if I want to, run again next year or whatever.
It's very, very lay the groundworky.
Yeah.
Put yourself in a position where you can start.
Yeah. So like next time it comes around, we're like, oh, Biden's not up anymore. And we're like, oh yeah, I remember this name. This is just name recognition. So officially the DNC was not involved in this. But a bunch of people just wrote in Biden's name anyway, and he still won. And like by a lot, he had like 75% of the vote or something. Okay, let's actually read the article. Look, we get
why were there many Bidens?
Many Bidens, lots of, I don't know. I'm assuming that's a glitch with my little news aggregator thing that actually formats everything identically.
It's called Pocket, right?
Yes, it's called Pocket. And yeah, sometimes you get weird little glitches like this, but overall it's like the things that I don't like about it are vastly outweighed by that which I do like about it. So yeah, Biden wins New Hampshire Democratic primary on Tuesday. Unusual race that he skipped after the party changed its rules in favor of seeing South Carolina, not North Carolina, hold the first nominating contest of the year. As a result, Biden was not on the printed ballot, but he won regardless, according to the race, which was called by the Associated Press. The victory comes after, I don't like the way they went with it. The victory comes after a grassroots campaign urged Democrats to write in his name, and a super PAC raised about $1.5 million to back the effort. Is it still a grassroots campaign once a super PAC throws $1.5 million at it?
Also, it's very hard to say grassroots campaign when you're the incumbent. I'm sorry, but it's not grassroots anymore. You're the incumbent. The deck is stacked in your favor, my guy. Like, I don't know how that's grassroots in any way. Not only do you have super PAC funding, but you hold the fucking office.
Oh no, the idiot just lost power. Don't know. We can't have people losing power. No, because there's been so many power outages in January. And yeah. So the outcome is more symbolic than anything. So because the DNC broke with tradition, went with South Carolina instead of New Hampshire. New Hampshire has that law, so they're like, no, we got to be first. I don't know. The whole race to be first thing, I know you got that weird thing where like every state has to administer their own elections in their own ways, even when it comes to federal elections for some reason.
Yeah.
But like, could there not be something where it's just like, we all do it on the same day?
So as much as I would like that to be the case, no, apparently they prefer having it be, hey, we do things on different days in different states. And by the way, every county has a different place you need to go, and the place will change probably every year, depending on what county you're in.
Some places are caucuses, some places are voting, and caucusing is just a stupid process. And like that puts peer pressure into the electoral process. I'm sorry, but like, if I'm a member of a family that is like completely like politically opposite of me, but will like there are going to be social consequences for like if they find out that I voted for someone that they don't approve of, I don't want to be in a gymnasium where if I go stand with the wrong people, I'm now ostracized from my family. I would rather just mark it down on a sheet of paper in private, put it in a ballot box, and nobody knows.
Especially because in some families, not only do they not want to talk about politics, but some of the voters aren't actually super informed. So you may end up creating a scenario where you create enemies due to your own ignorance. Like let's say, for instance, that you knew absolutely nothing about the 2016 election, and you had a choice between Hillary Clinton and Trump, and you know that you don't like Hillary for any number of vapid reasons, but you don't like them, and you saw Trump in Home Alone. And that is the extent of your political knowledge. And so you vote for Trump because he's the name when you don't automatically have like a bile association with him.
To be fair, Hillary versus Trump wouldn't have come up in the caucus because that's purely partisan.
No, right. I'm saying this is a failure of that methodology.
So Fennec the Rabbit says, just Fennec, I'm sorry, force of habit, says, can someone please explain caucuses? I'll try. It's this wild system.
It's a funny word to say.
Yeah, it is. It's this wild system where like you show up at a high school gymnasium or something, and then there are like booths set up for the various candidates, and there will be people at the booths like yelling at you to try and convince you to come over to stand with them. And if there are enough people standing with them at the appointed time when they will do the counting, they will then count heads by who's standing near the booths, and then eliminate like the bottom contestant or the bottom candidate, and then the people that were caucusing with the bottom candidate now have to redistribute themselves among the candidates that are still there, and then that process keeps going until there's only one left. And it's this stupid, ridiculous, just like it makes no sense. It's archaic. I don't even want to say it's archaic because I feel like even the founding fathers would have seen that as a stupid thing, but apparently not, because some of them did it. I don't know. I'm probably explaining a lot of this wrong, but like that's my understanding of it. And the opinions, when people get opinionated about caucusing, seem to kind of at least match up with my conclusion that it's completely stupid.
Yeah, they're held in a high school gymnasium, not because you need that much space, but because a high school is the only place that kind of bullshit belongs.
Yeah, it's popularity contest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Representative Dean Phillips, that's the guy who challenged Biden, he prompted New Hampshire Democratic establishment to organize a writing... Okay, his push to challenge Biden is what prompted the Democratic establishment to organize a writing campaign. Again, you called it grassroots earlier, and now you're saying it was organized by the Democratic establishment? How is that grassroots?
Yeah, we're just now using words and not actually assigning any real meaning to them. Yeah. We're just using words because they sound funny, like caucus.
Yeah. They're trying to make sure that Biden was not embarrassed by the primary result. Would it really be embarrassing if he lost when he wasn't on the ballot? Like, I mean,
why do we care if he's embarrassed?
So, yeah, I don't actually. Well, we care in the sense that if people see, like, people wouldn't necessarily see that Biden wasn't on the ballot because New Hampshire has this weird law, so technically they were supposed to go first, but they didn't go first, so they went first anyway, and there was this weird, complicated thing, and that's why Biden wasn't on the ballot. Most people wouldn't see all that. They would just see Biden loses New Hampshire. And so if you're in one of the states that follows New Hampshire, which is most of them, he would then, or you might then be more you might consider voting for someone else. Now, I have been a vocal advocate of this in the primaries, is that in the primaries, don't vote for Biden. Vote for the most progressive person there is on your ballot.
Yep.
And then when the candidate ends up being Biden, you just suck it up and vote for him in the general election, because he will then see how many votes the progressives got, and he will then have to, if he wants to keep these votes he has to tailor his administration to cater more to the progressive people.
It's such a weird thing when people are like, no, I'm not going to vote for him when, the time comes to actually vote. Because then you just kind of look at them and go, okay, so what happens then? Like what? Like just you and me sitting down having a real talk. What happens then? Do we get Trump's America again? Is that's what you want? All right, sure. Why not?
Yeah. Well, so what I kind of wanted to talk about with this, though, is also in New Hampshire, Trump won, as expected. Nikki Haley did pretty decently. That was kind of her last hope. And now, like Trump didn't win by as much as he could have, probably. But I saw there was a write-up, and this was just like some guy's blog, so I wasn't going to use it as a news source, but they pointed out that in the exit polling from the New Hampshire primary, the Republican one specifically, we can't really measure this because of the way you guys do your primaries. You can't really measure this in a cross-party way, but a lot of the people that voted for Nikki Haley were the moderates. And
the people who might not even be voting for Trump when the time comes.
And so New Hampshire is a swing state, and in places where there is generally a very heavy Republican lead, Trump was down 40% among moderates. Now, granted, moderates are only a fraction of the base to begin with, but if you're down that much among moderates in a swing state, one of the important swing states, then when it comes to the general election, if these people are if they're actually moderates and they don't want Trump, they're going to vote for Biden. At least that is the hope.
I have not been paying as much attention to the entire landscape for the election right now as I should be. The only thing that I saw was Ron DeSantis is topping out.
Yeah, I didn't see his speech, but I saw that someone was saying sip, so I guess somebody redeemed a hydrate.
Drink up.
Yeah, I'm not drinking alcohol tonight. I dipped a sandwich in my scotch earlier today as part of a bit that I was filming. And that was enough.
Oh?
That was enough for me.
Barn Owl says Vivek also dropped. Yeah, and I'm happy because Vivek was so Ron DeSantis is the cruel and able-bodied dictator in my mind, and Vivek was the fucking cartoon villain.
Yeah.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie Chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.